Hi guys, how's it going? Happy Monday. Okay, I got it. So I just wanted to come chill with you guys and see how everyone's doing. And I also found my journal, well, from when I had my first out-of-body experience. So I wanted to share that because I thought it was super, super interesting. So this is from 2013 and it's my first ever astral projection experience. Um, and it was just funny how it all happened. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's kind of interesting and it's kind of exciting to look back on as well. So how's everyone doing? Hey guys, thanks for joining. Just sharing this out really quick. And then also, for anyone who hasn't signed up for my email list, if you want to get exclusive discounts and giveaways and tips and techniques that aren't offered on my Facebook page or my YouTube, then that would definitely be something to check out. I can post it here for you guys if you want. I'm also going to be releasing discounts about my video course when it's done through my email list. So there's my email list for anyone who is interested. Okay. Good to hear. How's everyone else doing? Anyone have any weird dreams? Last night, I know that there's been like, that's just been happening to a lot of people for some reason. Okay, here we go, you guys. So, it's not very long. I definitely summarized my experience, but I wanted to share it anyway because it's super cool to look back on. Now I teach people how to induce these states, and seeing my first experience with it way back when is very interesting. So here we go. Sleep paralysis / astral projection experience number 1. This happened at, well, it looks like it happened at 4:15, but I noted it at 6:01. I woke myself up at 4:15 a.m., stayed up for 30 minutes, went back to bed. I felt vibrations. Before this, it seemed like a dream state. There were lots of people in my room. Chance and his 2 friends, for some reason my little sisters were there. Sydney, which is one of my little sisters, was sleeping on the floor. And I live by myself with my boyfriend, so my family doesn't live here, so that was clearly a sign that I was dreaming or in this like other state. So Sydney was sleeping on my floor, then woke up and said she had the wrong apartment. Me and Chance were way confused when we saw her because my family lives like an hour away. So this is clearly a dream sign. And I do it like that because this is like, turns into an astral projection experience after. We were way confused when we saw her. I seemed to be talking to Chance's friends about astral projection. So that's the goal we want, guys, is we want the thought of out-of-body experiences or lucid dreaming to seep into our dreams, and that's going to help us realize that it's a dream. So really just prioritizing that if it's important to you. You've heard all the benefits from me, so you can see why it would be super amazing to experience. But once we start to make that a big part of our experience in our waking life, we start to dream about it. Like forever, I was teaching people how to lucid dream in my dreams, not realizing that I was in a dream and I could have gotten lucid right there, right? So that's a good thing when you start to see it in your dreams. After I was talking to his friends about astral projection, one friend insisted he lay on the bed and curled up next to me while I attempt. So apparently I was in the dream that I was having, I was sitting in the bed with Chance and his friends, and Chance left and everyone left besides that one guy. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try to astral project now. And he's like, yeah, I'll just lay here and chill while you do that. And I don't know why I was like, okay, that's fine, because that would be just like, that. I don't think that would work very well. I hesitantly accepted, so that makes sense. This is when the vibrations hit. So after that, after I stayed up for, I got up at 4:15, it looks like. So it looks like I set my alarm for probably after 4.5 hours of sleep. or 4 hours. So we're aiming for that REM stage. I stayed up for about 30 minutes. And I remember I just sat in bed because I was so tired. So it was kind of dark in the room, and I just sat there. I just sat up because that counts as being up, right? We're stimulating our brain in some way, but staying in the kind of groggy state so we can easily fall back in to the experience. So when I did that, I laid on my back and I spread out my arms and my legs because you don't want anything to touch, because you want to be able to disassociate with your body and your physical senses. So once you start to kind of spread out and make sure nothing's touching, don't have like the blanket wrapped around your toes super tight, you know, or anything like that. Try to make it just super relaxing. Make sure it's the right temperature. You're not too hot, you're not too cold, and completely relaxed, because what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to feel the bed after a while. But if you're like crossing your arms or anything, you can obviously still feel your body, so it's not going to work. But once you kind of spread out and you cannot feel the bed, since nothing's touching, you start to feel like you're floating. And then you can start using your visualization and imagining the bed spinning, or you're on a hammock, or you're floating in a boat. Like, all of this works, and then you physically start to actually feel that happening, guys. Like, it feels so real. That's why I messed it up the first time, and I'm going to get into that as well right now. This is when the vibrations hit. Crazy static noises, whispers. The bed was also shaking. So I remember this. This was a very intense experience. I had sleep paralysis once before, and my first lucid dream actually was a wild. So one of the more advanced lucid dream techniques, because you go from the waking state all the way into the lucid dream state. But I remember telling you guys about that. I had to go to bed early when I was younger, and so I just laid in bed with my eyes closed, and I laid there still for so long that the vibrations started happening, and I started to see the colors. And I remember always playing with the colors. Like, if I moved my eyes up while my eyes were closed, the colors would kind of bounce and move around. And so I always played with the hypnagogic imagery. I didn't know that that's what you do to induce a lucid dream. I was just bored, I guess, and just watching the hypnagogia, and that's basically your brain getting ready to fall into sleep because it's creating that dream content. So if you're focusing on what you want to create and you keep that awareness, you can go into a lucid dream consciously. So I didn't have any prior sleep before this. I went directly from the waking state into the lucid dream state, and that was my first one, and it was crazy, guys. That was the first time I experienced the sleep paralysis, but holy powerful, you guys. So crazy static noises, whispers, the bed is also shaking. This is like powerful too. Like, you can feel pokes. Like, for me, I'll hear my closet door opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing over and over again. I'll hear people walking on the floor. So I'm like, oh my God, you know, and these are our non-physical sensations we're picking up. And we're also having auditory hallucinations because we're falling into the sleep state. So don't always think that there's someone in your room. We do pick up on non-physical noises, so noises that are actually there, but not in our 3D dimensional plane. But some can just be the sleep paralysis hallucinations, because as you guys know, we talk about there's 3 REM stages to sleep paralysis. And if the muscular paralysis is kicked on and your dreaming mind is kicked on, but you're awake, that's going to create the dream content in front of you. So that's why we can experience some crazy stuff sometimes in sleep paralysis. And I remember my heart was going so fast. Like, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. I did not expect it to be that crazy. I heard my sister, Katie, right next to me. So I have 2 twin sisters. They're like 14. So Sydney and Caitlin, that's who was in here. I heard my sister Katie right next to my bed telling me to look at her. I remember this. So as I was in sleep paralysis, my sisters don't live with me. I was getting really heavy vibrations, and I remember my sisters poking me, Haylee, look. Haylee, look. And this tripped me out because this sounded exactly like her. It sounded like she was actually right next to me in my room. And I was like, oh my, it's crazy, you guys. It literally felt so real. And I was not asleep either. She was trying on, okay, so this is where the sleep paralysis kind of messes with you. So we know that the sleep paralysis naturally collapses our diaphragm slightly because we don't need to take in as much air when we're sleeping. Well, in my hallucination, when that was happening, my mind was creating that my sister was putting winter jackets on me. So like those big heavy coats from my closet or something, and piling them on my chest for some reason. And so I still felt my diaphragm collapsing. You know how some people, they'll be like, oh, I swear someone was pushing me down and like holding me down in sleep paralysis. That's because they created the hallucination from fear, because they felt fear. And so it created a fearful experience. But me, I was just confused. And so it was my sister putting coats on my chest, that was my hallucination. So as you can tell, it's different for everybody, and a lot of people do experience the sleep paralysis demon, but that's a hallucination that people expect to experience in sleep paralysis, and our expectations create our experience since we're in a thought responsive state. That's why it's good to have a curiosity about it, know the science behind it, so you don't have that fear behind it, because it really is something super cool and we create our own experience. So just remember that when you try a technique or anything, make sure you're in a really good positive state and you'll have a really good positive experience. I could feel her pushing me, trying to get me to open my eyes. So there was this hallucination in my sleep paralysis that was trying to get me to open my eyes and look. Some people will make the choice to open their eyes while they're in the sleep paralysis state. And if you are having a fearful experience or you're creating fear in the sleep paralysis state, that's exactly what you're going to experience. You know, I've never really had a negative experience in sleep paralysis because I get so excited to experience it, and I'm just so curious about everything that happens within sleep paralysis, and so I don't really have a fearful experience. Remember, we're in a thought responsive state. Our mind is still within that dreaming realm when we're going into sleep, because we're going into sleep or we're coming out. So we're experiencing the hypnagogia or the hypnopompic hallucinations, which is the hallucinations in the dream in the morning. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you like meditate, chill out. You don't have to meditate, but as long as you're just curious about it and you're like, whatever, then you're good. But you can always change your experience. Just like in a lucid dream, we can change and shift our experience based on our thoughts and our expectations and our intent. We can do that with sleep paralysis. We can do that with out-of-body experiences. So she was trying to get me to open my eyes. I knew she wasn't there and that this was part of sleep paralysis, so I remained still. I heard her throwing heavy winter jackets on me, which is where the diaphragm collapsing slightly from sleep paralysis comes in, and my mind created this hallucination of my sister putting heavy coats on me and all over the bed. I knew what this was, so I just embraced the feeling and I just let go. There's this energetic intention that you have to make with sleep paralysis to just let go. Same with if you're trying to have an out-of-body experience. You cannot be creating resistance. Whether it's physical resistance, like actually feeling like you're slipping off the bed and like holding back a little bit, or like emotional resistance to, you know, having this fear and uncertainty of what will happen, because a lot of people will work super hard to get to this state, and then when it comes, they don't think they're prepared for it and they bail out, and then after they're like, damn, I had exactly what I was practicing, why did I do that? So just know that it can feel that real, and when we're in these states, we're not limited to our physical senses, so things can feel a lot more powerful. Like, for example, even drinking a glass of water in the lucid dream feels more refreshing than any glass of water I've had while I've been awake. Like, just little things like that you can experience through these states, because we're experiencing these with our mind, not our physical senses. And our body, for example, takes in and keeps all of the information we ever experience in our life within our subconscious. And so the best experiences that we ever had, the best food we ever tasted, anything like that is stored in our subconscious and can be amplified through the lucid dream, since it's not through our physical senses. So it can be really powerful, guys, especially if you use it for something fun and exciting instead of like holding on to the fear, because I promise you it's totally fine. You're totally safe. I promise you. So just have fun with it, even if it's sleep paralysis, because I had to teach myself how to induce sleep paralysis, because some people get it naturally. And now, you know, now I know that there's so much you can actually use that for. I mean, some people experience like 3 to 4 conscious sleep paralysis experiences a night. So imagine if you had 4 to 5 out-of-body experiences or lucid dreams a night, you know? Okay, sorry guys. So I remained still. I heard throwing heavy jackets on me and over the bed. I knew what this was, so I embraced the feeling. I then set the intent to roll out of my physical body. So there's tons of techniques out there. A lot of people like the rope technique, where you're laying down, you're in sleep paralysis, you imagine a rope from the ceiling and you're pulling on it and getting out of your physical body. That's never worked for me. Maybe it's because I've never been able to experience that physically, so I can't create the visualization and sensation as real as I need to in my brain. A lot of people will also, this is kind of a fun one, when you're laying down, imagine your astral body, like your legs expanding to like the end of the room and your arms expanding out. So like you're more than your physical body. You're not limited to just being right here, like shift your consciousness to a point outside of your physical body, whether you're standing somewhere else, expanding your actual body, like floating above your bed, rolling out. The point is we want to create it so real for our brain that it actually thinks it's happening, and we can shift our consciousness, our energy outside of our physical awareness. So my personal one is the rollout method, because we roll out of bed every morning, right? We know exactly what it feels like to push ourselves up and get out of bed. We can create that visualization and the sensation super, super real for our brain. And so you'll physically start to feel that. So after I started imagining my body or rolling out of my physical body, I started to feel my legs slipping off the bed. But this didn't just feel like a dream leg or whatever. Like, this was super, super real, you guys. Really real. I was like, I wasn't even really thinking about the out-of-body experience at that point, because I was like, oh my God, am I slipping off the bed? How am I doing that? Like, I'm on a flat surface. How am I like slipping? Because it felt so real, and I was like, I'm gonna fall and like hit my head on the ground or something. So it started to become so real for me that I started thinking about that instead of trying to focus on getting out of body. And so I made the intent to roll out of my physical body, so I imagined it as vividly as I can. I kept the intent and felt electricity under my eyelids. I remember this. It literally felt like electricity running through my veins. Like, I don't know how to explain that feeling, but it was especially like in my third eye area and my eyelids. And it was crazy, you guys. I was like, oh my God. And I was having a hard time staying focused, because this was my first ever experience like this. And so I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell Chance. This is so exciting. And like, I was just thinking of like how crazy it was, instead of really trying to focus, because I didn't, for some reason, I just didn't expect it to be like that crazy. I felt my legs slipping off the bed. I thought this was my real leg, so I showed some resistance of it falling. I now know that this was my astral body, and next time I will remain still without resistance. I'm going to attempt this again right now, and I'll know if anything happens. So that was my first ever recorded out-of-body experience. I remember having a lot of these experiences, similar but different, when I was younger, but this was my first one where I actually like researched. I knew exactly what was happening. I was practicing, and this was my first one that I had. So it's super interesting. What was your guys' first out-of-body experiences like? Has anyone had that before? Because even some people that I would have never expect to have one, I'll just start talking about it because people ask me what I do or what my hobbies are. And obviously you guys know what my hobbies are. And they're like, oh my God, that happened to me once. And so sometimes it just will spontaneously happen. And it's really cool to hear people's stories, especially when you think someone's going to be like, you don't know how someone's going to take that information, because, oh yeah, I just practice, controlling my dreams and leaving my physical body. Some people might be like, tight, all right, cool. Or some other people might not even know what the hell you're talking about. But some people, they're like, oh, I totally believe in that. Yeah, that happened to me before. And so I thought that was interesting. I also wanted to go over, I found a really amazing journal that I've written a ton of information in, and I just wanted to share some of it with you, just in case it'll help anybody. So I have Awake Back to Bed technique, and then if any of you use binaural beats, I want to give you some binaural beats to try for lucid dreaming. So the first one, and by the way, there's tons of different variations of techniques. So like mild might be a lot more simple in one technique than when, Stephen LaBerge talked about mild, for example, or something like that. So there's definitely variations, and you can tweak them as you need, because everyone's REM sleep is also, it's around every 90 minutes of sleep, but it can obviously vary from person to person. So just play around with it is the best thing I can recommend. Yes, so that's a really good question. Does cannabis usage affect our ability to lucid dream, astral project, and have out-of-body experiences? So yes. So, and I didn't know this before either, like at very first, but yeah, that and alcohol is the biggest thing. So THC and alcohol, they suppress our REM sleep, which is our rapid eye movement stage of sleep. So this is the stage in which we dream and we experience sleep paralysis. Basically, this dims down our awareness as well as really puts us in a deep relaxation. So we stay in a deep sleep all night instead of going from our, our deep sleep to our light sleep to our REM sleep and so on. We just kind of stay in that deep sleep the entire night. So we miss out on a lot of REM. Occasionally, if you do it occasionally, or, you kind of don't use it constantly, you can experience what's called REM rebound. So all of the REM that you were missing, once you stop using that substance, alcohol or THC, for example, then after a couple days, you're going to start noticing that you're getting a lot more dreaming sleep. So it's all the REM that you missed out on that was suppressed while you're using that substance hits you all at once. Throughout the next week or so. It starts to happen after the first couple days of stopping. And so if you do smoke or you do drink occasionally, you can always use REM rebound to still get lucid. But yeah, and then I know there's some medications obviously that would, but you'll just have to look into that if there's a certain medication that you're using. But yeah, so that's very good to know too, because I had a couple of friends that were like, oh my God, I've been smoking weed literally all day, every day, all night, and I've been just laying there in bed trying to get out of body for so long, and I will either just fall asleep or I'll just lay there for hours. So it's really good to know that up front, just so you can kind of gauge out when's the best time to use that, like maybe in the morning. That way when it starts to get closer to the end of the day, you have all that time and your night sleep to have REM. So you just kind of play around with it. I also did want to talk to you guys about a supplement that I recommend using. Let me go get it. I don't think I brought it, but let me go get it really quick. Woo. Okay. So I'm sure you guys have heard of this. This is called galantamine. Ooh. There we go. So this is 4 milligrams and there's 60 tablets in here. This is a really good supplement for dream recall because it's also a natural supplement that people with Alzheimer's use as well. And so it really increases, and as you guys know, dream recall is also connected to our waking recall. So once you start to improve your waking recall, being more aware, it starts to improve your dream recall. And once you start improving your dream recall, it helps you be more aware in your waking life. It improves brain function in general. So either way, vice versa. Yeah, it's called galantamine. So here's the spelling. If you can see that. This really helps. I wouldn't take it like every day. See, look, it says improve dream clarity and length, increase memory and recall, and may cause lucid dreaming. So lucid dreaming is basically a side effect of galantamine. So it's not like a lucid dreaming, like a lucid dreaming supplement specifically for that. It's to improve your dream clarity and your length of dreams, to help improve your waking memory as well. And then it also has a side effect of lucid dreaming. And I will have a link on this as well, an affiliate link if you guys want to buy that, because I am working with them. But also someone else that I told you guys about, it's called Vivid Dream, and they are sending me a bottle of one of their supplements so I can review it for my YouTube channel, because those supplements are so good to have if you're having like a dry spell. Sometimes that happens. And the cool thing about those supplements is, number one, they're vegan, they're all natural. It has ginger root in it to help with the digestion of it. And you only take it 1 every 3 days because it's so powerful that you can have really increased dreams from 1 pill for 3 days. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about that one and make a video on that one. That should be happening soon. And then, yeah. Oh, yeah. Did I tell you guys how often to take this? Okay, well, it says take 1 to 2 tablets per day with morning and afternoon meals. I take one like midday or like 2 hours before I go to bed. So this is kind of directing you in a way that it will help you be more aware in your waking life. Well, it's going to create that regardless, especially once we start doing dream work. But to increase the chances of clarity through sleep, I do it close to bed. That way it has time to digest and start working, but in my dream time instead of awake. But you still feel it. It's like you just feel so more sharp and just like focused, at least for me. But never rely on supplements. They should be used as a tool. If you're, like I don't believe that you should learn how to lucid dream just with supplements, and that would be very, very hard, because number one, you wouldn't really be able to maintain the lucid dreams all the time, because putting it all on a supplement, like it can't teach us how to bring our awareness and our critical thinking, for example, into our dreams, or our habits of reality checks. We can't just expect a lot of clarity to do the trick every time. So it should be used as a tool with other techniques and methods, and I don't recommend taking them like every single day. You can have like a week where you experiment with, like a week or two where you experiment with supplements, and then kind of like practice on your own with techniques and stuff and kind of go back and forth. So that's how I see the supplement thing anyway. But the wake back to bed technique that I'm going to give you, again, there's variations to what times you should wake up depending on your REM stage, and everyone's REM is slightly different. So I'd recommend playing with these and just waking up at different times and seeing when you wake up out of a dream. And let's see. So wake up after about 5 hours of sleep, or 2 to 3 hours before you naturally wake up. So again, we talked about between 4.5 to 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours right in the middle. You can play with that and see if that works for you. Or 2 to 3 hours before you would naturally wake up. So how long do you usually sleep a day? You want to wake yourself up about 2 to 3 hours before that, because we don't want your brain starts to go through what's called habituation, which if you start to wake up and go to sleep at the same time, it starts to get tired and naturally wake up at the same exact time. So you want to kind of throw it off. That way you can still go back into that sleepy state, because your body will just naturally flow into that state because you've trained your body to get up at a certain time. So switching it up, don't wake up at the same exact time every night, because eventually that won't work, because your brain will expect to wake up, if that makes sense. Stay up between 10 to 30 minutes. You can do anything. I wouldn't recommend, oh my God, 11111. I've seen that a million times today. Okay, that's great. I love that. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So you can do really anything. I wouldn't recommend using technology a lot within that 10 to 30 minutes, because this can stimulate our brain to the point where we wouldn't be able to go back to sleep, therefore making it really hard to reach sleep paralysis, because sometimes wake back to bed doesn't even need sleep paralysis, because you're basically creating awareness to carry over into your dreams. But sometimes when you're laying there trying to go back to sleep, you will feel the sleep paralysis come on. You're like, okay, well, we're having an out-of-body experience, or we're doing a wild technique, I guess, for lucid dreaming. So it kind of just takes you wherever. So just expect to either fall asleep and bring that awareness into your dream, or just expect to not be able to fall asleep and watch your body go through sleep paralysis, because really anything can happen. That's always my favorite, when I'm like trying to do just a regular mild or wake back to bed technique and actually go to sleep, but I have that sliver of awareness and all of a sudden I feel this sleep paralysis, and I'm like, yes, like I don't have to worry about just the chances of me realizing I'm lucid. I can actually induce it consciously now, so it's kind of fun. So go back to sleep, lay comfortably, and visualize the dream you'd like to have. So put yourself through the entire process, this entire scenario of the dream you want to have. Another thing I'd recommend is, if you just came out of a dream, continue playing on that dream in your head, and you'll notice a lot of the time you'll go back into the same dream. Another thing that I'd recommend for this technique, it's kind of like mild. So basically the same thing. I would just wake up, stay up for 10 to 30 minutes. But when you wake up, write in your dream journal, and then read your dream journal entry a couple times just to get really familiar with the content. And then look for signs that you could have been dreaming. So what dream signs happened within your dream that told you that you were dreaming? So you'll want to look for something that doesn't normally happen in waking life. So like an odd occurrence that happened in your dream. Oh, I could have got lucid when I was hanging out with my grandma, but she passed away, so I knew that was a dream sign. Or, oh, I could have got lucid when this car flew up in the air, and like whatever happens in your dreams. Just look for the weird things that would have told you that it was a dream. Now, as you go back to bed, since you read through your dream a couple of times, you're going to start replaying that in your head as you're falling asleep. You're going to play it as visually as you can. You want to kind of be able to trick your body into thinking you're asleep so it can fall asleep. So don't be tossing and turning, moving around, responding to the rollover signal. Just try to relax and create a fixed point with your eyes closed and just really, really play that dream that you just had. But this time, instead of seeing the weird things in your dreams and not realizing it was a dream, this time you're going to imagine realizing that it's a dream once you run into those things. So if you got into a car that like flew up in the air in the dream and that was what you were imagining in your visualization, you would imagine once you got in the car, you were like, wait, this isn't right. This is a dream. And really vividly imagine that. How exciting does it feel to have a lucid dream? How euphoric does it feel that you just realized you were dreaming? Really imagine that, because I've done that as well. Like, well, as I'm falling asleep, I'll look at my hand and imagine seeing like 12 fingers and getting super, super excited and making that the last thought I had before I went to sleep, because that's going to be the thought that's most likely going to influence your subconscious mind and your dreams. So I did that, and then I actually had a dream where I went through the same thing. I looked at my hand, I had like 12 fingers or something crazy, and then I felt the exact emotion that I created as I was falling to sleep. So when you remember things from your dreams, is it because you were lucid at the time? It could be. If we don't practice remembering our dreams, we won't even remember when we have a potential lucid dream. So if you had a dream where you knew that it was a dream, like if you've ever had a dream that maybe someone was chasing you and you had to wake up, and you're like, oh, wake up, wake up, wake up. That was a lucid dream, because you knew you were dreaming. A lot of people will have to go to the bathroom in their dreams, and as we know, if you have to go pee in the lucid dream, don't do it. It's a trap, and a lot of people that's their trigger to like, oh my gosh, I'm peeing. I have to pee. Oh wait, I can't. I gotta wake up if I need to go to the bathroom. That creates lucidity. So knowing that you're dreaming, yeah, right? Yeah, definitely. So little things like that, just that aha moment. This is all a dream. That's the moment that creates the aspect of lucid dream. Oh my gosh. Hey, Sherilyn, thanks for joining. Did anyone have any questions about anything we've talked about so far? I hope this made sense. I kind of combine techniques sometimes. Like I'll combine the wake back to bed and the mild, or the wild and the mild, and like, you can just like kind of play with them. And I'm going to be creating a lot more videos on techniques, so I'm going to be putting those up soon onto my YouTube channel. So anybody who hasn't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it. That would really mean a lot to me. I can put that in there if anyone wants to sub to that. And also, for anyone who didn't hear, of course, you're so welcome. So anyone who didn't hear, I have an email list, and you can actually join that to get exclusive discounts and be entered into giveaways and tips and techniques that aren't offered on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. So if you are not part of my email list, definitely, I'll post that as well. I know I posted it earlier, but here we go. There's that. Definitely sign up, because you will get a lucid dreaming PDF as soon as you sign up, just to kind of get you started. And then I will be releasing more info about my video course when it's closer, and there will be exclusive discounts in there that you can't find anywhere else. And it also does include free one-on-one coaching sessions with me inside the video course. And so there's tons of stuff going on, you guys, and I'm super excited. Keep in mind, oh my gosh, guys, you know how I just told you there was literally 11111 on Facebook? It's literally 111 right now. That number is crazy right now, you guys. Is anyone else experiencing a ton of synchronicity? Because that's been wild lately. And I know some of the friends, they've been sending me screenshots every single time they've experienced a crazy synchronicity. And it's like, dude, what is happening? This is like way more than I've ever experienced. Sorry, I always just look up the number meaning after I experience it, even if I've read it a million times. I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, we're back. Right? Yeah. So, guys, definitely check out my YouTube channel. Definitely check out my email list. Definitely let me know if you have any questions or you want to hear more about techniques or tips. Keep in mind that I do have a lucid dreaming masterclass starting on August 31st, which is this upcoming Saturday. That's going to be the first day of the class. The next day of the class is a week from that date, so that's that following Saturday. So it's 4 total Saturdays. The first Saturday we're going through, so the class on the 31st, that is going to be us building our dream journal and creating recall so we can start having amazing vivid dreams and turning those into amazing vivid lucid dreams. The next class, so that following Saturday, let's see what day it is, just to kind of give you, it's the 7th, September 7th. So, and that one is going to be dream signs and reality checks. So how to master awareness and critical thinking in order to create a habit of lucid dreaming. The third class is going to be techniques and induction methods. So everything that we can do to induce lucid dreams at will. So not just have them spontaneously by creating awareness and critical thinking, but also be able to induce them at will. And then the fourth one is my favorite, which is conscious dream work and healing. So as you guys know, I healed my stomach issues that I had for literally 6 years. It was the worst pain that I've ever felt, and I thought I was stuck with it forever. I took the best medications. I did everything that I could. I went to all the doctors. I went to the ER like literally like two days a week at least. And I almost gave up, and I heard about the healing aspects of lucid dreaming, but of course that sounds far out, right? So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do a little experiment, because I am kind of like, at the time I was like, I'll see it when I believe, or yeah, that's what I say now, but I used to be like, I'll believe it when I see it. But as you guys know, with the law of attraction, you gotta see it. No, you gotta believe it to see it. A lot of words mixing up, you guys know what I'm saying. And so I was like, okay, well, let me try it out. And I made the intent to heal my stomach in the lucid dream. As you guys know, as soon as I got in the lucid dream, I was walking down the street, and it was like a summer day. There was no clouds. It was absolutely beautiful. There was trees everywhere. I could hear birds singing. It was like I could smell the air. It was just like so crisp and beautiful. It was the most vivid thing I ever experienced. A guy parked his like white truck across the street and like started walking over to me. He was like, "Hey, I'm here to help you heal your stomach like you asked for." And so of course I'm just like, okay, let's go. And so we started walking down the street, and there was like this really big house, and he was like, "There's the healing pool over there," but it was just some random person's swimming pool in their backyard. And so we actually walked through the house, and it was just this family's house having a barbecue, and they were just like, "Hey, what's up?" Like totally fine with us just like walking into their house. And so we're like, "Hey," and they're like, "Do you want a popsicle?" And so we're like, okay. And this was like the most vivid dream. And when you know that it's a dream and you're like playing along with the story, it makes it so funny. So I'm like, yeah, that's fun. And then everything tasted so vivid. Everything was so crisp and clear. And knowing when it's in a dream and there's this whole like story happening, it's just so fun to go along with it. But he's like, okay. And he's like, "Hey, can we get in your pool?" And she's like, "Cool, yeah, no problem." So we just like got in the pool. I don't know who this guy was, like, but we went to go like heal our stomachs or something. So as soon as I got into the pool, it was like super ice cold water. It felt super, super real. The sun was beaming down. It felt like I was swimming around there forever. It was like one of those kind of deep circular ones that people just have in their backyard. And I remember just like swimming for a long time just in this dream, like, and I imagined, since he said it was healing water, I imagined that as soon as I got into the water that it was healing my stomach. And I tried to use the placebo effect, so I convinced myself that it was true. I was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much for my healing. I can't believe I feel this good right now. I have no pain. This is amazing. Thank you so much for my healing." Like, I was like overexcited about it to convince my brain it was actually happening. And as you guys know, anything you experience in the lucid dream is 7 to 9 times more powerful than in the waking state. And I didn't think it was that powerful though. And so I had my hands on my stomach, and I remember Charlie Morley did this. He healed his eyesight because he had to wear glasses for the longest time. And as you guys know, after 3 lucid dreams, he was doing, "My eyes are free of conflict. My eyes are free of conflict." And that's actually funny how it started. So he had really bad eyesight, right? And so he went into the lucid dream and couldn't figure out how to heal it. He tried everything. Like, my eyes are healed, and nothing was working. And he went through 2 lucid dreams trying that. On the 3rd lucid dream, he felt it. He was like, "I really think that I'm going to be able to heal my eyesight now." And so he was trying things that wasn't working, and then all of a sudden he heard his voice coming from the sky. It said, "Charlie, there's a conflict in your eyes." And it was his voice, and he's like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "Oh, I get it. he had to say the affirmation a certain way. So he's like, my eyes are free of conflict. My eyes are free of conflict. And imagine healing energy going to his eyes. And all of a sudden the dream went boom. And he woke up. And what happened was actually crazy. He woke up and he was looking around and he realized that he didn't have his glasses on. And granted, he said it wasn't 100% healed. He said, but his eyesight improved by at least 80%. 80%. People have to have surgery to get these results. But we can do it through our dream state, because as we know, the placebo effect is the one known cure for every medical condition known to man. And we have direct access to that in our sleep, you guys, because we have access to our subconscious. So this is crazy. So that's what happened to me. I imagined the healing, like I made it super real for myself. We all say something different. You can come up with your own mantra, play around with it. Sometimes the dream will give you advice on what to say, like with Charlie's story. So it's kind of interesting. There's like this intelligence behind the dream that like helps you out, gives you advice. It's crazy, guys. I can't even, you guys already know. I get so hype about it, and it's because it's the craziest thing ever. But when I woke up, usually I wake up from the stomach pain. Like usually it's so bad that it feels like stinging and like burning, but inside my stomach. Like if I got cut from on the inside of my stomach and it was like burning. That's what it always felt like every morning. And I have to like chug water, like to like, I don't know why. And it was like that all the time. And I woke up this time, nothing, guys, nothing. And I was like, okay. And I had 8 medications for it. So I just decided, okay, well, why don't I just like do a challenge, just see how long I can not take the medication for and just see if it worked. And so, yeah, exactly. And so I tried it out for a week, and then it was 2 weeks, and then it was 3 weeks. That was about 6 years ago, or maybe 7. And I still haven't taken them. I actually threw them away. And it was crazy because, guys, I can't tell you how much that changed my life. I woke up crying from that dream. I was so relieved. I finally had a day where I didn't have to focus all of my attention on the pain I was feeling. That was the first day where I felt like I had my life back, like I was free, you guys. It's seriously that powerful. And that's what I've helped other people do now as well, which is so amazing. People that suffer from chronic back pain or skin conditions or PTSD, recurring nightmares, anxiety, depression, bad habits, thought patterns, addictions, belief systems, anything like that, we can work on in lucid dream. And so I've worked with tons of different situations in lucid dreaming, and it's all been super profound. And I would just recommend trying it out yourself. I do have a YouTube channel with tons of information on there if you're wanting to try this out. And then if you're still having trouble and you need a little more assistance, you can work with me one-on-one and we can get you there. And it's not just about getting you lucid. It's about teaching you how to lucid dream, but teaching you how to take control of your life back. So teaching you how to change your life. So I want to show you your hidden power within your subconscious mind that a lot of us aren't aware of. And that's the most important thing, right? Is being able to step into our power, know that we have control. Lucid dreaming gives us control of our life because it teaches us that everything is illusion. All the fears that we have, all the random like belief systems that kind of control our lives, like we can change those. We can change those. And lucid dreaming kind of shows that to us. And that's why dream yoga is a big practice as well. Because once you can change something you fear into something that you love, something you hate into something that makes you, like whatever, just opposite things. Like for example, one of my clients turned one of her biggest nightmares into just a field of flowers. If we can change things and learn how to change and shift things like that in the dream, what are the things in the dream? They're our mind. They're parts of our mind. So we're learning how to shift our mind, and this habit will carry over into the waking state, just like our habit of awareness will create an awareness within the lucid dream state. If we do certain things within the lucid dream state, that also changes our waking state. So it's very, very combined, you guys. Like, it's very intertwined. And I'm not kidding. This is crazy. Dream yoga has been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Definitely look into it. It's absolutely insane. And a lot of people on the Western side of the world have never even bothered to learn about these Middle Eastern practices. But it's not just for people on one side and not the other. Like, anybody can use this. People just need to have an interest and try it. Anybody can learn how to lucid dream, but what you do in the lucid dream is up to you. I'm just telling you, there is deeper aspects to the lucid dream that you can't access if that resonates with you. But I know some people just want to have fun, do whatever they want to, just have a free world to explore anytime they want to, and that's fun too. But if you desire something deeper, if you desire more insight and clarity in your life, if you desire some sort of healing or ability to release something, then that is maybe something that you want to try, and it definitely is possible. I recommended a ton of books on my last stream I did yesterday, so there's tons of information you guys can get. And then also I have my video course as well, which is going to be going over, basically, I wanted to make it as intensive as possible. So I think there's going to be like 35 to 40 videos in there at least. So it really is broken down to everything that you need to know in order to not only lucid dream, but how to talk to your subconscious, rewire your brain, use the placebo effect, use neuroplasticity, you know, all of the things that get me super excited about lucid dreaming. So all that's going to be included, and I also created meditations and guided meditations for the course as well. So that's going to be kind of cool. But I just want to tell you guys about that. Also, I realized I didn't get to the binaural beats thing, so I'm just going to do that really fast. So the best binaural beats for lucid dreaming: theta waves or gamma. So theta, I would probably do 4 to 7 hertz. And theta actually encourages light sleep, improves focus, relaxation, and mental clarity. And so if we use binaural beats in meditation, for example, this has a really powerful impact, at least for me. I know sometimes it doesn't work for people. So basically binaural beats, it's where you are playing 2 different tones. So you can look binaural beats up on YouTube, or there's an app that I use called Brainwaves, and basically one tone is playing in one ear and one tone is playing in the other ear. So say there's 8 hertz in this ear, and there's 10 hertz in this ear. The difference between 8 and 10 is 2. So the brain makes up the frequency for the 2 hertz. And so you can use different frequencies to improve focus, clarity, relaxation, meditation, lucid dreaming, astral projection, healing, like positivity. There's brainwaves for everything. And so it's basically like hacking your brain into a certain brain state to relieve certain issues or do something specific. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so if you want to talk to me about that, maybe we can work something out and see what we can do for you, Rachel, because that would be something really interesting, because I know that it works. I used to have really bad back pain too. Like, I don't know why. Yoga definitely helps, but like I needed something better, like deeper for some reason. I don't know why. It just always hurt, you guys. And then I actually started doing yoga in the lucid dream and like affirmations for my back in the lucid dream. And then I haven't really noticed it. Like, that's when you know that healing's working. You're like, oh my God, this was the first day that I didn't think about how much pain I was in. I didn't even think about it, you know? And so then you start to realize, wow, like it is starting to kind of move away from my direct attention because something is working. So yeah, super cool, you guys. And then lucid affirmations. So this should be as you're falling asleep or after you wake up for a technique, like through REM sleep. And then as you're falling asleep into the technique, you can just repeat, next time I'm dreaming, I will know that I'm dreaming. And just choose one. The next scene I see will be a dream. Or I will have a lucid dream tonight. I'm dreaming now. I'm dreaming now is kind of cool because as you're going through the hypnagogic state, you really start to go into dream territory. And so for me, I like to ask the question because I like to ask, am I lucid? Because as I'm falling to sleep in that hypnagogic state, obviously the answer at first is going to be no, no, no. But then you're like, I don't know. Am I dreaming? And then you can tell when you start to transition into that state by asking yourself that question. At least that's what works for me. So I ask myself, am I lucid? Exhale. Am I lucid? And I just do that in my head, you know? And eventually you're like, I think so. And then you start to see it piece together. So that's kind of the way I like to do it. So it's kind of interesting. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I found a ton of my old notebooks yesterday, and I love to write and I love to take notes. And I have like a whole library of just like my notebooks of notes on things that I've taken or literally anything. So I'll have to share some more of my stuff with you guys. This is from my old notebook. Every single night before bed, I used to write, I am able to realize I'm dreaming. I am able to realize I'm dreaming. I am able to realize I'm dreaming. And that's what I spent that like 5 minutes on before I go to bed. Like affirming that I always realize that I'm dreaming, affirming that it is easy to lucid dream, affirming that I always remember my dreams, and getting excited about what you want to experience, because then you're expecting it, and that's what you want, right? The intent and the expectation. And so once you create that, then you're good. Oh, here's this as well. This is like all my old notes, you guys, from when I was getting super into lucid dreaming. So I gave myself little triggers to do reality checks. So I will reality check anytime I go to the bathroom, am somewhere else other than work or home, hear or read something about lucid dreaming, hear my name, step outside, wake up, think about reality checks, go to bed. So as you can tell, these are a lot of reality checks to do. You definitely don't have to do, yeah, Rachel, you can totally PM me. And, you know, you don't have to have a million checks that you do, but a lot of people like to, anytime they walk through a doorway, they'll reality check. And you just have to do it really fast. Okay, you know, create a habit of checking to see if you're awake and really ask yourself. Because if you're kind of like, yeah, I know I'm awake, it's fine, then guess what you're going to do in the dream? You're going to see yourself, yeah. And then you're going to wake up and be like, damn it, I was so close. I had it. I went to go do the reality check. But since we've created the habit of doing it kind of on autopilot and just like doing it out of like just to get done with it, then we're going to rush through it in the dream. And that's been the most transformative thing I've used, is really learning how to slow down and become critical. Try to play a game with yourself. Pretend that you don't know that you're awake right now. Like, pretend that you have to prove to yourself that you're awake. How would you prove that you're not in a dream right now? Get creative with it. How would you prove that you're not dreaming right now? And think of ways that you could do that. And once you start doing it and just like creating that habit out of being critical of your surroundings, you'll start to do that in your dreams. How do I know I'm awake right now? Oh, I don't know who that person is. Where am I? This is not right. What is happening? You really start to pick up on all of the weird occurrences that happen when you're in the dream. So it really is all about building awareness, because all the lucid dream state is awareness. Everything is basically awareness. And we just are creating a more aware and mindful life through this practice. And then also, if you don't have ideas for reality checks, plug your nose. So plug your nose and try to breathe in. Make a habit of that throughout the day, because if you can't breathe, then you're awake. But if you can breathe, then you're dreaming, because we're not using our physical nose when we're asleep. And so we'll actually be able to breathe just fine if we plug our nose as a reality check and try to breathe in. So that's interesting. The finger pokes, so just seeing if you can put your finger through your hand. I love when people have their first experience with this, because people message me, oh my God, I actually did it. I went in my dream, and it's so weird to see your finger go through your hand. Like, it's just funny to hear. Check palms. So as we know, our fine lines will not be very present in our dreams, because the dream has a very hard time at detailed pattern recognition, and it also has a hard time replicating at what it just saw. So we want to use both of those. So we want to look for the detailed pattern, since the dream has a hard time at doing that. And since it has a hard time replicating at what it just saw, we're going to look away, and then we're going to look again. And then you're going to notice, if you create a habit of doing this in the dream, when you check again, they're going to be different in some way. You'll have like 20 fingers or something weird. And then the mental check is really important. You have to not just do the action, but you have to tie the action with the question. So not just like count your fingers. You want to really be like, am I dreaming? How do I know this isn't a dream? Is there anything weird going on right now? Do I know all these people that I am with? What was I doing 20 minutes ago? You know, because if you ask yourselves all of that, if you create a habit of asking yourself these questions in your dream, then you'll be like, what was I doing 20 minutes ago? Oh yeah, I was getting ready for bed, so this must be a dream. You know, it's all about asking those mental questions, because that's what's going to create the critical habit that we need in order to get lucid. Pulling fingers is a fun one. So just gently pull on your fingers in your waking life. If they don't extend, then you're probably awake. This one's really interesting in the dream, because you have to expect these checks to work, right? You have to expect your finger to go through even when you're awake, because if you don't expect it to go through in the dream, since it's thought responsive, then it won't be able to go through. So you really have to expect it to go through and be surprised when it doesn't go through, even when you're awake. So you're like, oh, that's weird. I totally thought I was dreaming. Okay, like play that game while you're doing these checks, while you're awake, and you'll really see the benefit of doing that when you start to do it in your dream. So that's really interesting to try. And then just counting your fingers, as you guys know. Count your fingers, make sure you have 10, look away, look back. And then I also have goals for my next lucid dream. So that would be kind of cool to, oh, okay. So this is goals for my next lucid dream. This was like 4 years ago. Sit down and meditate. Because when you meditate in the dream, it's like 9 times more powerful than if you did it when you're awake. But number 2, it creates a crazy amount of clarity, and it makes the state very vivid and very focused and grounded. And it's like the best experience. Like if you thought you had a good meditation in the waking state, you should try it in the lucid dream state. So that was my goal, is to sit down and meditate, ask a dream character what I meant to do with my life. This is forever ago. I actually feel like I found out the answer through my lucid dreams after this. Drink a glass of water that will heal your body, a magic potion. So this looks like it was when I was going through my stomach issues. So as you can tell, I made the intent to heal my stomach, and I made the expectation, and I wrote down what I wanted to do. So it looked like my original intention was to drink a glass of water that I saw as a magic potion that would heal my body. Now that's a way to use the placebo effect. But it looks like as soon as I got in the dream character wanted to take me to a healing pool of water. And so that's what ended up happening. And then I also had repeat before bed. I know I'm dreaming. I know I'm dreaming. I know I'm dreaming. I will recognize that I'm dreaming. And then I just had tons of notes of things I wanted to try next. And oh, this will be good. Sleep paralysis. Or in other words, sleep atonia. So this is from forever ago, and it kind of tells you what to go through in sleep paralysis. This is years ago, so let's see if it matches up with what I talk about now. Thoughts. Allow them to happen. So don't focus on your thoughts. Let them flow. Be the observer, because if we want to get out of our body or we want to have a lucid dream, we need to practice becoming the observer so we can see a perception that's not in our physical body. Position. Comfortable, but not comfortable enough to sleep. So you want to be comfortable. I think this is more geared towards astral projection. So follow this if you want to experience an out-of-body experience. Itches, ignore with an underline. So as we know, that's the rollover signal. Eventually, after sleeping for a little bit, your body's going to start being like, hey, are you awake? Hey, are you awake? And you're going to start getting itches, and you're going to start having the urge to move and roll over, but don't do it. That's not an actual urge you have. That is your body sending signal, or your brain sending signals to your body to check if you're awake. If you respond and you move, that tells your body, oh, she's awake, don't put her in sleep paralysis. But if we want to get to sleep paralysis, that's what we need to do. We need to trick our body into thinking we're asleep by not moving. So that's what it means by ignore. It's funny because it says spit/swallow urges, ignore. And as you guys know who have practiced this, sometimes that gets in the way. Because if we're getting close to sleep paralysis, or sleep paralysis has started, and you like swallow your spit, for example, sometimes it will wake you up. It will tell your body that you're awake, and you'll have to start all over. So that's kind of like a big issue people go through. So the best thing I can recommend is just not to focus on it. Sometimes I can astral project on my side, and that creates like, I don't know, it makes it so it's not really annoying, and like I have to focus on it. So maybe try that. Allow hypnagogic images to form, but do not focus on them or follow the images with your eyes. So kind of see through them. See your closed eyes and the colors as like a forest instead of a black wall. So try to see the depth through your closed eyes, and images will start to form, because it's like if you're looking down the street, or like, you know, at a tree super far away, or through the forest, you see through it. You don't just like, your vision doesn't just stop at like a wall, basically. Does that make sense? Tell body you're going to sleep, but internally affirm your mind will remain awake. So sometimes I'm like, all right, getting ready for bed, and I'll put my sleeping mask on, but then I'll be like, JK, I'm actually staying asleep or staying awake, but we're not going to tell the body that. You just make that energetic tension. Like sometimes I'll get really close to sleep paralysis, and then I have to turn over on my side to be like, okay, I'm going to sleep now, and because that's the position I sleep in, and then for some reason that induces sleep paralysis really, really fast. So maybe try that. Focus on your feet and work the energy upwards. Relax your body and breathing. So imagine an energy down your feet, kind of scan your body, work it up your ankles to your knees, to your thighs, and really scan your entire body. And then as you exhale, try to move that energy back down. And what you're doing is creating energy, and you're practicing moving your energy body. So that will really help induce an out-of-body experience. At first, to relax your mind, think about normal chores or random things until you're just observing thoughts. So this is like kind of shifting our perception. Once you're like in sleep paralysis or you're going to go out of body, once you shift your perception and imagine like doing the dishes or going on a walk, you'll notice that you go into this dream, but then you are exactly where you were imagining. So that's kind of interesting. Envision yourself in a white light and expand this. Imagine colors. So it's basically just using a lot of visualization, which really is the key to all of that. And again, we're just working on creating the visualization and sensation as real as we can to induce these states. So I am going to get going. I have so much to do today, but I really, really appreciate all you guys hanging out with me. I really hope that these tips helped on sleep paralysis, talking about lucid dreaming, astral projection. Really cool to hang out with you guys. Thank you so much, and I will definitely try to go live tomorrow. Definitely go to my Sacred Sisterhood guidance page if you want to join in on live readings tomorrow with me and the rest of my Sacred Sisterhood, and we will see you guys there. So thank you guys so much. With love and lucidity, as always. Peace out, guys.